Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to HR Repair. This is Hey Ray, and today we've got a short little video. This one's probably not going to be very long. We are doing brakes all the way around on this 2018 Ford Expedition. Brakes and rotors. There's something on these things that I want to point out and that you'll need to do when you do brakes on these. And this applies to the majority of newer cars with the electronic parking brake. So stay tuned and we'll bring you along and show you what we need to do to get this thing ready to change the brakes and rotors. Contact! So like I said, we're going to be doing brakes and rotors. Going to put on new brake pads, new rotors. They are not completely wore out. However, these are a little warped and the customer doesn't like it. So we're going to change them. But before we do that, we must put these parking brakes in service mode. And then after we get them in service mode, we'll be able to push the caliper back without having the parking brake try to engage it and smash and remove our finger in a very unceremonious fashion, because that parking brake will apply much force, much more force than what your thumb can withhold. So, or finger, or any part of your body for that matter. So let's not hurt ourselves. We want to go home from work today. We don't want to be hauled off to the hospital. All right, so we come in, and this applies to the most Ford Expeditions with the electronic parking brake. So we will not turn the steering wheel, but we'll turn the ignition on. And this person is a lot more long-legged than I am. Okay, then at the let me get you guys set up here, because I need both hands. Okay, just before we do that, turn the ignition on. Here's the parking brake. Now, that's important to know for the procedure. Now, to get this thing in service mode, there's an easy way to do it with the scan tool, but I thought you guys might want to know how to do it if you're going to do it in your garage, because, you know, not everybody wants to take their vehicle to the mechanic and have him charge you per hour to change the brakes. So we're going to push in the parking brake, push it down, push it in to release it. Now we want to push the accelerator pedal in all the way to the floor, push the parking brake down, shut it off, right back on within 5 seconds. Okay, and you can release it and it'll say parking brake maintenance mode. So we'll now we'll be able, and you'll see it pops up, parking brake maintenance mode. Can you guys see that? Yes. Okay, so it's in parking brake maintenance mode. Then when we come back, I'll show you after I get the brakes changed. I'm not going to show you guys that because I'm sure that's going to be boring. So when I get back, I'll show you how to put it out of maintenance mode and back into regular mode. So as long as it stays in maintenance mode, your fingers, as long as you don't get it in another place, your fingers should all still survive the brake job. All right, so we've got our brakes all done, and now it's time to put our brakes back into regular mode, parking brake that is. So what I want to do, and this is, I don't know if you have to do it this way, but I do it this way, is I'll pump up my brakes since I've got all the calipers pushed in. Just pump them up till they're firm. And then what we do is basically the reverse of what we did before. So, except this time we'll pull on the parking brake and the accelerator at the same time. So, let's get you guys back here again and turn the ignition on. And I think it'll come up as park brake, maybe. Yep, park brake maintenance mode. So it doesn't want you to forget that. All right, gas pedal to the floor. And then release. Ah, shoot. All right. I missed a step. All right, let's do this again. Key on. Comes up. Gas pedal to the floor. Pull out. And then it says maintenance mode. Turn the ignition off. Back on within 5 seconds. It has to be turned back on within 5 seconds. And then release. And we've heard them go back into regular mode. So now we should not have anything that the park brake is in maintenance mode. So turn the ignition off, and if you remember before, anytime we turn the ignition on or open the door, it would say that the park brake was in maintenance mode, and it's not saying that anymore. So we should be able to go ahead and start it. And he's got some rattling cam phasers. Fun times. So that's how you do it. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Like I said, there is a way of doing it in the scan tool. It's easy as long as it works. Some guys are on TechLine are saying that it doesn't work, but that this works pretty well every time. So just to go through everything again, when you want to go do brakes on these things, you do want to put it in service mode. The reason for that is Ford says that while working on these things, your parking brake can automatically engage for unknown reasons. So they want you to put it in service mode. That pulls everything back, and you don't have that possibility of lopping off your fingers or whatever else you've got in between the brake pad and the caliper. So then, you know, just want to go through it again in case I haven't made it plain enough. You turn the ignition on, push the accelerator to the floor, push in on the switch to as if you're disengaging it, turn the ignition off and back on, and it has to be done within 5 seconds, and then release your accelerator and your park brake button, and that should put it in service mode. You'll hear it go through its thing, and then whenever you're done, you can push back your brake caliper just like normal, you know, to create space for your brakes. Does not have to turn the caliper piston, does not have to turn, you just push it straight back. Also be very careful, there is a plastic piece on the outside. You do not want to pinch against there. If everything's right, it doesn't take much force to push that piston in, and so find yourself something where you can squeeze against it or something, but you don't really want to push on the back side of that plastic, if that makes sense. So I've got the wheels on it, or I'd show you. Then after you're done, I just pump up the brakes, because your parking brake pushes your brake pedal in, or brake pads in, and then it releases to give it the right amount of air gap. So I don't know if that's Ford procedure, but I've always done it that way, is pump up the brakes and then put your parking brake out of service mode, which is basically turn the ignition on, push the accelerator pedal to the floor. Do not start the truck. Push the accelerator to the floor, and pull the parking brake switch as if you're turning it on. Then turn the ignition off, back on within 5 seconds, and then release everything and allow it to go through its thing, and it'll go out of service mode. Now you're good to go. Your park brake should work fine. You should be able to take it on a test drive. This one I'm not taking on a test drive because I have got to go get something done real quick. So we'll leave this thing parked on the lift for now, and then I'll come back afterwards. I've got to do some other things to this thing. I'll come back afterwards and we'll take it on a test drive. I'm not going to record that. It's nothing much to it. So hopefully this was helpful. The main objective to the video was to show you how to put it in service mode, and then also let you know why you have to put it in service mode. So hopefully this will help you to be more comfortable to change your own brakes at home if you so choose to. Thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, as always. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate each and every one of you watching, and hopefully you're still here. But if not, I understand, and we'll catch you all on the next one.